This is AM Joy, April 22nd, 2017.
From the Muslim ban to building a wall, Donald Trump's war on immigrants has been a signature component of his first 100 days. This week, his ire was focused on the highly skilled foreign workers who've helped to propel companies in Silicon Valley, like Google and Intel. Notably, both of these companies were also founded by immigrants. Trump has signed an executive order aimed at re-examining the H-1B visa program that allows U.S. companies to employ foreign workers in specialty occupations. The Trump administration says the program undercuts American jobs by using cheaper international employees. But tech leaders are anxious to keep it. And joining me now is Democratic Representative Ted Lieu of right here in the golden, wonderful state of California. So this Buy American, Hire American Act, Congressman Lieu, what does it do?
The executive order signed by the president does virtually nothing. I'm very familiar with the Buy American Act. When I served on active duty in the Air Force, I worked on some of these issues. So the executive order says it's going to be the policy of the executive branch to have a preference for American products. Well, that's the law. Congress passed a law in 1933 saying exactly that. So basically, the executive order says follow the law. Yay, but really does nothing. It's just show, no substance.
And we already know that the Keystone pipeline and the pipelines that are being built with Russian steel and imported steel. We're not using American products there. Donald Trump himself employs a mostly foreign workforce at Mar-a-Lago. He's not going after that. And he's even wrong about he says that 2/3 or 3/4 of the CEOs in Silicon Valley are from Asia. That's not even true. The Asian Americans make up 27.2% of all professionals, and 13.9% of all executives. Very few. White men are 149% more likely than Asian men to be an executive, and they are 260% more, 60% more likely than Asian women to be an executive. So there is no takeover by Asian, whether they're Asian Americans or from Southeast Asia, Silicon Valley.
That's correct. And keep in mind, the blue-collar workers in Ohio and Wisconsin are not losing foreign jobs to computer scientists from foreign countries. These tech companies need these positions because if you're a computer scientist in America, you're in high demand. And we really need to focus on making sure these tech companies can continue to prosper and grow.
And California has a top, world-class university system that attracts a lot of international students. Are you seeing any sort of backlash from the rhetoric that's coming out of the White House in terms of being able to attract that kind of talent into the universities here?
So anecdotally, I've talked to several universities and they're seeing less graduate students apply. And that's bad because if you have any country that doesn't have immigration, they stagnate. The ones that do well are countries like America, where we have immigrants that renew our country, provide innovation and growth. But there's also a high level of hypocrisy with this executive order because Donald Trump makes a lot of his products overseas.
Yeah, I don't think any of his products are made in the United States. I think they're all made in Mexico and China.
That's why I don't buy any items from the Donald J. Trump collection.
And that's why you look great. I thought your suit looked good. There's also sort of a dark side to all of this rhetoric that's targeting people of color, including Asian Americans. There's been an increase in hate crimes against people of Asian descent. A group called Asian Americans Advancing Justice is tracking and exposing these hate incidents and finding 130 reports of hate crimes and hate incidents just since January.
The segment you played with the interchange with President Trump and Steve Bannon does show a very troubling aspect to this White House, which is you've got Steve Bannon, a principal advisor, having racist views. He views that having too many Asian Americans in, for example, Silicon Valley is bad. No, that's just American. Even if it were true, it would just be American. And to discriminate against people based on their race is offensive, and it gives license for people to start engaging in hate crimes.
Is there anything that Congress is doing to speak up about the fact that you not only have Bannon and Stephen Miller and Michael Anton and Sebastian Gorka, who's affiliated with the Nazi organization, but also in the Attorney General's office, Jeff Sessions agrees with Steve Bannon 100% on immigration. There's obviously nothing that the Congress can do about them being there, but have you heard a hue and cry from other members that they're meeting with these people in the room?
You're absolutely seeing a reaction from the American people. You had the amazing Women's March. You got a March for Science today. You have people pushing back. And it's very clear to me that there is a huge reaction to the racism and bigotry coming out of the White House.
And I want to show you had a large town hall, and you, of course, you're one of our favorites in terms of Twitter. You're great on Twitter, and you trolled Donald Trump, as you are wont to do. And so this is the bigly crowd at my town hall last night. They don't like you. I'm with Ted. What was the biggest issue for people as they were standing up and talking to you at this town hall?
Everything. They were very concerned about the environment. They were concerned about the repeal of the Affordable Care Act and replacing it with a far worse law. They were concerned about the president having no strategy in North Korea and Syria. So we are in some dangerous times, and I urge everyone to get involved and to take action.
Yeah, and as far as you know, since you are in Congress, are we going to get any progress from Congress in actually standing up to the administration and using its Article 1 powers to redress some of these issues,
So one reason the Affordable Care Act was not replaced because all the Democrats stuck together and said we're not going to support a far worse Trump care piece of legislation. Yeah. So as long as that happens, I think we still have enormous leverage in Congress.
Congressman Ted Lieu, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Really appreciate you being here. And coming up at the top of the hour, the latest on the massive rallies for science taking place in Washington, D.C. and in hundreds and hundreds of cities around the world.